I think I'm going to try out for NPR today, John.
Yeah?
Well, welcome back, everybody, to Day 3 E3 of 2014 coverage here. No, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't do it.
We got to get excited.
I'm going to fall asleep.
E3, man.
God damn E3. So welcome, everybody, to Rage Select. We're talking about E3, and we are going down to the last conference that we've had, which is Nintendo. And I thought I'd get somebody in here who actually likes Nintendo
Who
for
actually
once.
owns a Wii U console.
Right, somebody who has said to me on numerous occasions, I'm really excited for all the things that's coming up on Nintendo, as opposed to Jason, who I poke him with a stick. It's like, wake up, wake up. So yeah, we're going to talk about the Nintendo press conference, but before we do that, John, I'd like to, as I did before, take this opportunity to real quickly run down the other press conferences and just get your general overall impressions from it. So
awesome.
We started with Microsoft. What'd you think about Microsoft?
I bought an Xbox One yesterday.
Mission successful.
Mission successful.
Microsoft, wow, good job, Microsoft.
Well, no, okay, so I actually really liked Microsoft's conference. I felt that they did, because I didn't buy one last year because I didn't buy an Xbox One or a PS4 last year because no one said, hey, you need this console now.
Right.
I felt like with games that were announced at the event, like Crackdown, because I'm a huge Crackdown fan, and that trailer made me really, really happy to know that there's another one coming.
I've got to go play one of these games. I've never played a Crackdown game before.
Well, the great thing about Crackdown is exactly what they showed in the trailer, is that where it's like 3-4 guys doing completely random shit to blow up the environment, to cause just mass havoc and achieving this goal that really could be probably handled in a much less destructive way.
Okay. Hey, sounds like a game specifically made for the dojo, personally. But
yeah.
Anyway.
But no, and then they're indie games, they're ID at Xbox stuff. There's that little trailer. There was a bunch of little games that were in there that like Drifter. It's a game that's on Steam, or it was
Hyperlight
a Kickstarter. Hyperlight Drifter.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Like that looks great. The fact that it's coming out on a console, I think, is awesome.
Sure.
There was one that I'd never heard of, and I saw the trailer, and also my girlfriend Amanda freaked out over, like, we need to get an Xbox as soon as this comes out, which is the Cuphead game.
The one that has the old animation aesthetic.
It looks really badass.
Yeah,
and I was like, okay, that's cool. There's the Master Chief Collection, obviously. I'm not a huge Halo fan.
It's a hell of a deal.
But it's a hell of a deal.
It's a hell of a deal.
You're getting a web series, 4 games.
Is a short film? Is it a mini series?
I thought it was a series of episodes.
I'm not sure. I can't remember.
I thought it was basically the exact same type of thing that Halo
Forward
Unto Dawn was.
Yeah.
I thought it was that kind of thing.
Please, John, Dong. It's a classy website.
Dong?
Forward Unto Dong.
Dong.
Anytime from now on that anybody in this industry uses the word Dawn, I'm going to call their game blank blank Dong, because you shouldn't be doing that anymore.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. But no, so, it's that I want that because I loved Forward Unto Dong.
Right.
And I'm doing it for you.
Good.
Here.
Thank you.
But yeah, so I mean, there was also you get the beta for the next the multiplayer for the next Halo game.
Halo 5 Guardians, yeah.
Yeah, which I'm
okay, please, I've had everybody on here talk about this so far. What was the point of showing an 11-second pre-rendered trailer for red dudes shooting at blue dudes?
I agree with you on that one. That was probably a misstep on their part. That I do feel like I think I can agree with everyone when I say that they may have focused a little bit too much on Halo. Well, especially when all they're doing is showing us, hey, we upscaled the first 2 games and are giving you the exact same for 3 and 4.
I think that I'm going to talk about this a little bit with Jason tomorrow, but I've been thinking a lot about when you look at E3, when you look at like the Microsoft press conference and you really like pull back from it and you go, the centerpiece of your conference was essentially re-releasing a bunch of games that you already made.
Yeah.
And the fact that people were so excited that you're releasing a 10-year-old multiplayer game and 3 and 4, which were good games, it's just they've already been out, is a weird thing to me, that people are this excited about playing a bunch of games that ostensibly, for most quotey fingers gamers, right, that we've had opportunities to play these games before.
Yeah.
Still, I mean, I understand, like, putting all those games in a $60 package, it's fucking hell of a deal.
No, that's a hell of a deal. Hell of a deal, and the beta will sell it because the beta sold Halo 3, or not Halo 3, there was a ODST.
ODST.
It sold ODST because you got to play the multiplayer for 4, I think it was, or something like
4?
that.
Okay.
It was one of those.
Was it Reach?
It was Reach.
Okay.
You're right. It was
Okay.
Reach.
That was the last one
I get them
before
mixed up, but yeah, I think Crackdown, the first Crackdown, got you into the beta for Halo 3.
I believe you are correct about that.
So I mean, they show that that will, and the fact that the game is going to be a kind of a best of, like, you can actually go in and just play like the best levels of all 4 games. I think everything's unlocked, all the weapons, all the levels. You can pretty much do whatever you want. With that. I think that's badass. I think that's a hell of a deal, especially for someone who's like maybe Xbox One is their first console. They've never played a Halo game before. They want to know what all the hubbub is about. There you go. You get everything except for ODST and Reach.
Did you? Let's see. I've asked everybody so far, and so far nobody has. Have you played that Phantom Dust game?
I've never heard of that game before.
I've seen the box, but I can't. I mean, there's like one person on the website who chimed in and said that it was a really good game on the original Xbox, but nobody that I know.
I have friends who have said that they enjoyed the game, and I actually, it's kind of funny because in addition to buying an Xbox One about a month back, I actually bought an original Xbox just so I could play certain original Xbox games that were not compatible with the Xbox 360. I'm actually thinking about trying to find that game now so I can actually play it in my spare time just to see what all the hype is about.
Maybe we can do it for the Savage Tits.
Maybe
we could do that because as far as I know, like. I've only seen like there was one person on the website who chimed in to say that was a really good game.
Yeah.
But I mean, Iron Galaxy, I don't think they would be remaking that if there wasn't some kind of following behind it.
Yeah. Well, it's like everyone who I've heard from that, or everyone that I know that has heard of the game or has played the game, all were like super excited about it.
Okay.
I honestly think that, and even some of the reviews I saw online, or some of the press people that I saw online were all saying, yeah, this is one of those games that no one's heard of.
Yeah.
But the people who've played it fucking love it, and it's going to be awesome that we're going to get a new game for it.
Cool. I mean, I'm going to play it. Like, I personally have a franchise that you played that used to be nobody had heard of.
Yeah.
So I understand when that kind of shit happens. Let's see. Any other big highlights from Microsoft that stand out in your brain?
I will say there was a big absence.
Yeah.
Which was Quantum Break.
Yeah.
But they actually announced last week that they weren't going to be at E3.
Okay.
Because they're currently getting a playable demo available for Gamescom.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, because this is the start of convention season.
Convention season. So I understand that they held that one back, but because that's the game that's like the big game that was last year that was like, oh, I need to get an Xbox.
Right.
I'm a huge Remedy fanboy, so I need to get that. And so it was kind of surprising to see nothing.
Yeah.
At the Microsoft.
John, I think I know what actually sold you on the Xbox One. I think you've been dancing around it, and I don't think that. I think that I know what it actually is. You were watching that montage, and you were like, "Oh shit, threes! I have got to go buy a $400 console right now because they're putting fucking threes on the Xbox One."
You got me. You got me, Jeff.
Okay.
I am addicted to threes. I love it. It's. I can't get it on my phone because I have an Android and not a.
You can get it on Android.
I didn't know you
could.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got it on my Android phone right now.
Right.
It was just one of those things where I saw that in that montage and I was just like,
threes, really?
Okay, sure. It's a fun game.
Or it was.
Okay, so let's see. How about EA?
EA, there was stuff that happened during EA's. I'm thinking about it, and suddenly I can't remember anything other than they announced the Hardline. I thought Hardline looked interesting.
Yeah.
And then they announced the beta, which I couldn't get in, unfortunately.
That's fine.
But yeah.
You got to see you think about it, you're like, EA press conference. Let's see. I know what the inside of about 4 different game studios looks like.
That was actually a big thing. It's like, why are you showing me stuff that you don't have anything to show me?
Well, you think about it and you look at it and you go, if they removed Battlefield, Criterion, and the BioWare two-shot, it's like, they wouldn't have had that much to show.
Yeah.
They would have had to show Hardline for like 20 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, they showed what is it? I guess Criterion. I don't know. They're working on a new racing game, but with helicopters and boats. And
near as I can tell, it's like you jump from one thing to another thing to another thing to another thing. So it's a multi racing thing.
And then
They've all got cups with their names on them. That's what I know about Criterion. There's a new Mass Effect game. BioWare's working on something else that such jerks. They're jerks for just being like.
They're like,
also something else we can't show you. Here's some bullshit.
Yeah. I honestly kind of like, and then they showed like I thought the NHL game looked really good.
Yeah.
I thought Madden is Madden.
Yeah.
They upped the defense.
No, you know what's funny though is no Peggle.
Yeah. Well,
Last year they made a big goddamn deal out of Peggle too.
Well, it released.
Well, go out there and say Bejeweled 4 is coming next year for the Xbox. I don't know. They made a big deal out of Peggle, so go ahead and make a big deal out of something else. Also,
that's next year, Jeff.
I guess they got to spend another year working on it. No mention of Plants vs. Zombies or any additional content or anything for that.
That was kind of weird.
Maybe it's just not doing that well for them.
Yeah, I think the big one here is Hardline, which looks interesting. I'm not a huge Battlefield person, but I like Visceral, so I'll totally.
I like the fact that they're making a single player.
Yeah.
They're making the single player campaign.
Yeah.
Because whoever made the single player for Battlefield 4 should not be making single player campaigns.
Yeah,
anymore.
I played that for all of like 20 minutes and stopped.
Also, Dongate.
Dongate. Yeah. Dongate.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest before we go any further.
Yeah.
Ubisoft.
Yeah.
I haven't actually watched yet.
Okay, fine.
That's the one conference that I've not been able to sit down and digest anything from. But I heard it's motherfucking awesome. I was joking. I'm joking with the fact that apparently Aisha Tyler dropped F-bombs and shits and whatever. There's a big thing on it on the internet.
Every goddamn year, John.
Yeah.
Every goddamn year she goes up on stage. And every goddamn year I say I'm not the biggest fan of Aisha Tyler. And every goddamn year somebody comes out to say, "Why do you hate her?" And I'm like, I don't.
Here's the thing. I think I actually think she's a very talented actress.
Me too. I
she's
really do.
She's a terrible comedian.
I don't like her stand up. And if you like it, that's cool. I'm going to say the same thing I said last year, John.
Yeah.
I really wish that I enjoyed her because then I wouldn't have to have this conversation.
Because, like I said, in anything that she's acted in, like TV shows, cartoons, voices in video games, she's actually really good.
Yeah.
And compelling. And I think she's a super talented actress. Comedy, not so much.
Anyway.
But that's just me.
Most of Ubisoft was really, really good.
I did see the Far Cry 4 thing at the beginning of the Ubisoft conference.
Oh, where he's on the bus?
Yeah, with the bus
with
and the
monkey
crazy dude
and
the flying around the helicopter thing, and that was the beginning of the Ubisoft.
Yes. Did you see the developer guy that came out?
No.
The guy that's like we talked about it yesterday. He's like the Ron Swanson of game developers.
Oh,
He's like this big dude, totally bald, gray goatee, and he's got the deepest voice. He just comes out and he's like, "And that's just the very beginning. From there, you're fucked." And then just kind of drops the mic and walks off. I was like, okay, great. I don't know. Well,
that's awesome.
You and I will get a chance to talk about it on an episode of Savage Tits or something.
Probably.
At some point. Sony. You did watch Sony?
I watched all but the first 20 minutes of Sony because I had to come home from work.
First 20 minutes was Destiny Story, I believe.
I think it was Destiny was the big thing.
Destiny Story trailer, I believe, is how they started.
I want to say I came in right at, I don't even remember where I came in.
Let's see. Let me take the rundown. Destiny Story trailer.
I came in with the trailer for Infamous whatever for the Vita.
Okay, so no, that's not a Vita game.
It said Vita on it. It was like Infamous.
No, the
whatever.
Second Son standalone sequel, standalone DLC.
It
that's
is standalone
for the PS4.
DLC. Okay,
yeah.
Okay,
it's one of the characters from Infamous.
It might have said and.
So you missed, let's see, Destiny, white PS4, The Order 1886, which was a really cool demo.
I actually been meaning to go look up that trailer for that and the demo for that.
Entwined, which we've been seeing a bunch of times today, and then Infamous, the Second Son DLC.
Called First Light or Infamous First Light, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the characters from Infamous Second Son. It's a prequel of her story.
Okay. That's where I came in, is during that
all right.
playthrough.
Well, then let's hit the high points because we got a whole other conference to get to.
I mean, the trailer for Dead Island 2 was nice. I thought that was hilarious, and it caught me off guard. It was unexpected.
Yeah.
And it was. I mean, it's obviously a CGI trailer, but it was still fun.
At the end of the day, it shouldn't have been unexpected, right? Because they were so adamant about Riptide not being Dead Island 2.
Yeah.
That should have been a red flag in my brain, and I don't know why it wasn't.
Yeah.
But
Grim Fandango coming to the PS4 is a big thing, which is I'm not going to buy a PS4 to get an old game. But I'm going to buy a PS4 so I can get that game in addition to some of the other stuff that's been announced.
Right.
Obviously, Bloodborne looks amazing. Like I was like, maybe Jeff's rubbing off on me, but I kind of want to play that game. I was a little bit interested in the PlayStation TV, just because I'm also a console gadget whore. Like because I have an Ouya. I have when OnLive first went live, I bought their OnLive console.
Yeah,
I tend to kind of get into that sort of stuff.
Do you have the Nokia?
I don't have the Nokia one.
What was that thing called? Engage?
No, I don't have an Engage. That was actually before I became that sort of person that wants to have every little thing that can play every little thing.
Okay.
So I kind of am looking. I'm interested in that PlayStation TV. Just trying to think of some. No
right down the list.
Sky.
No Man's Sky.
Oh my God!
Yep.
And the fact that they had the flood, and then suddenly they come out and like, oh yeah, we're doing this timed exclusive for Sony.
Oh yeah. But see, you got to listen real close on that. It was a timed console exclusive, which means it'll launch day and date on PS4 and PC probably.
Yeah.
With just Xbox One delayed by a while.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's any way they could actually put that can't be on the Wii U.
Probably not.
But
oh my God, it looks so good.
It does. I was studying with Aaron yesterday. I need to know more about what you do, because just simple exploration is not exciting enough all on its own. But I like what I see so far.
They showed the stuff with Devolver Digital, which Devolver Digital is becoming a indie game company that is just releasing games that I want inside me.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
Broforce being like the 80s action movie, whereas what is it, No Man's Hero or whatever it's called, or No Hero,
no,
or
Not a Hero,
Not a Hero, which kind of comes off as like the 90s John Woo era movies.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I think that should be a franchise of stuff where they just do a different generation genre movie.
Okay,
because that's fucking awesome.
I agree. Devolver Digital, they've been putting out a shit ton of good stuff.
Yeah,
like they're one of those companies where they're small, but when I see their logo, I'm just like, well, I'll try it, whatever it is. I don't give a fuck.
Same here. Obviously, Mortal Kombat X.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Sure,
I love me some Mortal Kombat. So that was actually to get to see some gameplay, and the two new characters look interesting. Other than that, I'm
going to close this so you don't just read the synopsis
no.
list.
Yeah, no.
Other
than that, I can't really think of anything else that was like. I mean,
Batman.
There was Batman. Yes, there was Batman.
And after Batman, there was a little game at the end of the show.
Yeah,
Uncharted 4.
Uncharted 4. I like Uncharted, and I like the fact that Nathan Drake's older.
Yep,
he's very, he got.
Okay, I put Aaron on the spot yesterday. I'm gonna put you on the same spot, right?
Okay.
Even money. I want your solid prediction right now, and I'm not gonna let you change your answer.
Okay.
Nathan Drake, dead or alive at the end of Uncharted 4?
Dead.
Good. Okay, that's. Aaron switched it. He said alive, and then I said I think dead.
I wanted to say alive, but it's the whatever that subtitle was for Uncharted 4.
The Thieves' End.
Yeah, Thieves' End.
Is that what
and
it
the
was?
fact that apparently I need to go back and beat. I need to go back and I need to go back and beat Uncharted 3. But apparently he got married in Uncharted at the end of Uncharted 3 or something, or got out of the game at the end of it or something.
It's been a while. I only played Uncharted 3 one time, whereas I played Uncharted 2 a whole bunch of times. So I
played Uncharted 1 and 2 a bunch of times, and I kind of only got halfway through Uncharted 3, and then was like, okay, this is actually not as good as the other two games. I'm gonna go away from this for now.
Okay.
But Uncharted 4 looks great. I mean that's the Metal Gear Solid trailer looked awesome. For Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
I'm not really a huge Metal Gear fan.
That's fine. Hey, you know what? I've passed way past the point in my life, John, where I try to get people interested in stuff they're not interested in.
I beat Metal Gear Solid 2 to completion.
Yeah.
And I've beaten Metal Gear Solid 3 to completion.
Mm-hmm.
And I basically, at the end of 3, I was like, no, I can't do this again. I'm not enjoying these games because I'm not enjoying them as games. I'm enjoying them as watching a really long cutscene.
If that's the way you feel about Metal Gear Solid 3, then it's good that you stopped. It's very good that you stopped.
Oh no, and then I heard about 4, and I was like, well, not doing 4.
All right, well, that has been the previous stuff, so let's get on to the new stuff.
Nintendo,
who did not have a press conference. They had their Nintendo Direct thing, which they started with Robot Chicken.
Yeah, I don't know, but it was. Here's the thing.
Robot Chicken.
I will say the first joke, the first bit, because they did little bits with Robot Chicken throughout the whole thing. I think the first bit worked.
Yeah.
That was actually with Reggie.
Okay, I'm going to disagree because I thought that Reggie insulting the E3 audience was kind of a fuck you from Nintendo.
I kind of like asshole Reggie.
Okay.
That's just me. I like asshole Reggie.
You know, Nintendo...
That's not my problem.
Well, Nintendo is up there like, oh, this is how E3 game journalists are like, when are you going to make more games that I want to play? Like, no, that's a legitimate question, Reggie, is when are you going to make some more games that I want to play? Like
that's Robot Chicken's annoying nerd character.
Yeah.
That's their or whatever stereotype. But no, I thought the first one was good. And then the ones at the back, at the whatever the table, the craft services table in the back.
Bowser and
there
Peach.
was one with Bowser and Peach, and there was another one with I don't know who.
Little Mac.
Little Mac
taking the gloves off.
Yeah, I thought those were
Star
kind
Fox,
of,
I think.
Yeah, I thought those kind of fell flat.
Yeah,
but I thought the first one was actually really good.
Okay,
especially with the whole joke like, oh no, we're not doing a Mario game this year.
Yeah,
and then Mario in the back like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
kind of like. What do you mean there's no Mario game?
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of seemed a little gimmicky, but I guess it's funny how by not being a stage show, they could incorporate stuff like that. They could actually go out and get people to do bits.
And then they followed up that first video with the awesome battle between Iwata and Reggie, which was amazing.
I think it's funny how it's like. There's no part of my brain that can actually imagine those men doing anything physical. So it's just like it was a lot of standing there with looks on their faces, and then they would jump, and there'd be all these hands, like and I was just like, "This is not none of this is their arms. This is just all CGI."
I just was watching it, going, "Oh my god, this reminds me of like what is it, Kung Fu Hustle?"
Yeah,
I was like, "This is amazing.
Yeah.
I want a game that is this, as realistic as possible." And then it turns out it's an advertisement for.
Smash Brothers.
Yeah. Because they
transitioned from real life fighting into
Smash Brother characters.
Mii's.
Yeah, Mii's.
Which was the big,
one of the big Smash Brothers reveals is that you can play as a Mii character, and there are 3 different character or fighter types, which they revealed.
Was it like
after
like punch and sword and shot and shooting, right?
Yeah, long range. Fighter, long range, and sword.
Right,
guy.
and then they said that each one of those has like some sub variants so that you can customize. And then they did this really weird thing, right, where they were like, and not only can you do this, but now you could make celebrity Mii's and put them in. And it was like
they showed Ice-T, Elijah Wood,
and I'm like,
and I can't remember who the first one they showed was.
I don't remember it either.
I just went Ice-T, really?
I want
Elijah Wood?
I want you to level with me, John. I want you to be real honest with me here. Have you been sitting around for a long time with a burning desire to beat the shit out of Elijah Wood in a fighting game? Because I was just like, I don't have any problem with Elijah.
Seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, like put I don't know. That Gladys chick from the fucking Sims demo in there. I'll beat her up. Or I don't know. I mean, like, it was just a weird It was who they picked was very strange.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but no, I mean, it was. Yeah, I mean, I just thought it was kind of funny. That felt kind of like an FU to people, where he was like, people always ask us to put characters in the game, so we just said, fuck it, we'll give you the ability to make your own characters.
Right. Yeah.
So I was just kind of like, oh, thanks.
Quit bugging us.
Yeah. It's like, that's not really the same thing, guys.
Yeah.
We want you to put other characters, like other franchise characters, not celebrities.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. All I know is that when it comes out, I mean, I guess we'll have to make Mii's of ourselves and fight in there. But
then they also showed revealed the Amiibos.
Oh, right.
Amiibo.
Amiibo. Fucking terrible name, man. Fucking terrible name.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that.
It's like, I feel like since the Wii U has started, that Nintendo has had a really difficult time naming any of this bullshit.
No, I agree.
Like, the original Wii, I thought was kind of a shitty name, but we've been saying it for so long that we're all used to it by now. But like, Amiibo, really? It sounds like Amoeba, which has nothing to do with what this is. This is Skylanders for your Nintendo pad.
Yeah.
And
which, they had always stated that, since you knew that this was in plans from the beginning, the launch of the Wii, because they actually, before the Wii came out, they had things where you put action figures on the Wii pad. And they even have that little sensor there that they haven't done anything with.
Didn't they have wasn't it a trailer for... There was a trailer for something, right, where they put like an Ezio figure on there.
Yeah.
Was it Smash Brothers?
I don't think it was Smash Brothers, but it was like they definitely put an Ezio figure on something and it scanned it in. And,
right.
And they were like, this is a concept. This is not an actual thing.
Right. But what the thing that I have to wonder about it is, if you're using that gamepad, do you have to keep
no.
You know what? For those of you who don't understand, who don't know what we're talking about yet, and have not seen Skylanders, Disney Infinity, or anything, basically what they have is the Nintendo, the Wii U gamepad has a little near-field communication chip in it, and you can get these little figurines. They keep calling them toys, and I'm like, they're not fucking toys. Toys move, and these are just statues.
Yeah, they're little statues,
and they've got a base on them with an RFID chip in them or whatever that you put down on that base, and then it'll scan it, and it's a two-way communication thing where, like, in the trailer, Iwata puts Mario on there, and Mario comes into Smash Brothers and beats up Reggie's Mii. And apparently, like Skylanders, it's a two-way street where if you have a character that can be leveled up, that information then goes back into the figure.
So the way I'm thinking that works, and this is more theory on my part, is I think you can put it on there to basically for it to read the data, and then when you finish your match, it'll probably prompt you like, hey, please put the figure back on the device. Like, you don't have to leave it on there the entire time.
Because, Skylanders and Disney Infinity both have a portal, a separate thing that you put them on, and not part of the game controller.
And then they also did announce that they will be releasing a portal peripheral for the 3DS, so you can do the same thing.
Oh, with Smash Brothers on the 3DS. Had Smash Brothers on the 3DS? That had already been announced, right?
Yes.
That wasn't new.
That had been announced. The thing that wasn't announced is they announced, I think, the release date of it at E3.
Oh, yeah, because they said 3DS is like October, and then the full game is just fall.
Is this holiday.
Right.
Yeah. So
and I don't know if it's going to be in the same one, but they also showed some stuff. I mean, since we saw this press conference yesterday, but I've been watching bits and pieces of the Nintendo stream all day.
Oh yeah, same here.
But I don't know. They've also been showing off. They had a whole segment where they were showing that the 3DS is going to have the kind of adventure mode for.
I didn't know that actually.
The Smash Brothers, where apparently it was in one of the previous Smash Brothers.
Yeah, it was actually in the Brawl.
Okay,
Brawl
where you
had
could
it.
Equip stuff and then go through a level and get experience points and stuff like that. So that's on the 3DS. I haven't seen any mention of it for the Wii U, but I think if they're doing it for the 3DS, they're probably going to have it on the Wii U.
Yeah,
as well.
you would think that they would.
Maybe. You can never tell anymore.
This is true.
I don't know. So anyway, they announced this Amiibo thing. I think
it's an interesting idea as long as they can get more games that support it, because they said that right now the figures will be supported by certain games that are labeled with it.
Right.
So in other words, these figures that they're coming out this holiday alongside Smash Brothers aren't just gonna work with Smash Brothers. Like, you can use them for Smash Brothers, but they'll have a different effect on a different type of game.
It makes me wonder though, what exactly. I mean, like Nintendo isn't crazy.
Yeah.
So it's not like if you get Smash Brothers, Mario isn't going to be in there until you go buy the Mario Amiibo.
So the difference between it is, I actually know this one.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So I actually watched the specific video where they explain this, because I was actually worried about that you had to buy the figure to fight as the character.
That would be insane.
And that's not the case. Is that the characters that are in the game, they're all in the game that you have, they will have a base stat and a base play style that will not change.
Okay.
Now, if you have the Amiibo figure, you scan that in, you can then level it up, and you can actually say, oh, make this attack more powerful than this attack, or make this ability less powerful as you're leveling up. You can actually change what special attacks it does. You can even add, maybe like remove a special attack and add a different one in.
Oh, that's so weird.
So it's like
for a fighting game that would totally fuck everything up, though, right?
And that's one of the things that they're working on with balancing.
Right.
I think they're still working on.
Like,
but,
if your friend comes over and he's got his fucking level 99 Mario that he just keeps fucking everybody with, like, that seems like it could really mess up the balance. I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. I mean, I think that the idea of, to me, it seems like this would be a better idea if they had a game that was specifically to take advantage of this, like a Mario game that had a full roster of amiibos that you could go to the store and buy them. So it's like you could play Mario with, like, if I could have like the new Super Mario Brother, that style, just standard side-scrolling Mario, right? But then it's like, oh shit, here's Samus, and now we've got Super Mario, like that Megabix, right, that guy did on the website. But officially sanctioned by Nintendo, where if you get yourself a specific figure, you can put them into that game.
Yeah,
and use
and I think
that would be rad. Like,
I think that they're going to do that at some point.
Yeah.
I think they're going to. I think that's the plan. They're just working out how to do it or how they want to do it.
Okay.
Because again, Nintendo is very much let's come up with the play concept first, and then we'll build a game around it.
Okay.
That's kind of the way they operate.
Let's see. Next up was Yoshi's Woolly World.
I love the idea of this game.
Jesus Christ, I can't tell you how uninterested I am in Yoshi, John. I'm sorry. I'm gonna you know what? I'm gonna sit my cranky old man ass down because I didn't like Super Mario World 2. And I haven't been a big fan of Yoshi ever since, so why don't you tell the people how awesome
Okay, I'm not going to say this
Yoshi's Woolly World is.
This game is obviously, it's a spiritual sequel to Kirby's Epic Yarn. It's made by the same team, but instead of it being strands of yarn, it's like fully knitted world. Like everything looks like it's been knitted together from yarn to make like a fully three-dimensional rendered world. And you can destroy yarn to add, to reveal hidden secrets. Very much this comes off as a Yoshi's Island style game, where there's no death. There's no death in the game. There's no losing a level. It's more of let's explore and find all the secrets, and then you're gauged based on how many of the secrets you found and how quickly you found or things like that.
Listen, man, I don't want to be a dick or anything, but I don't want to have to be the Jason Murphy for this press conference.
No. That's fine. That's fine. I totally get it. I think the game looks adorable, and I think it's gonna. I think with kids, it's gonna be. Kids are gonna love it. I think it is geared towards kids.
Okay.
I think it looks cool. To me, I don't mind being excited about kiddie-looking games.
Sure.
My girlfriend wants it. I think girls. And I'm not saying this like only girls will like this or anything like that, or that this game is so simple that girls will like it.
Right.
I'm just saying that it's going to appeal because it's fucking adorable.
It is.
It is the most adorable game I saw.
I put it on our stream for a little while, and I came back and said, "Who doesn't have diabetes in here? Raise your hand." Because because it was on the Nintendo Direct. This was not on the conference, but on their actual Twitch stream. What we were watching, it was two women playing this game, just squeeing their fucking asses off, and I was like, oh my god, I could barely even watch this. Like, there was a boss.
Yeah.
They went to a boss. The boss was a big yarn dog that was knitted out of
yarn. That is adorable.
And the boss was adorable to the point that I felt bad that the Yoshis were killing it. I was like, the big boss dog just wants to play with you, Yoshis, and you're being jerks about this. I don't know. I mean, I think it looks fine. I have this thing with Nintendo where their games don't always interest me in a conceptual level, just from the aesthetic of them, but they're always fun.
Yeah,
they're always fun, and if it looks good to you, then I'm sure that even if you put me in front of this game, I'll be like, it's hella fun.
I'm going to be very honest here. I at the beginning of this, I kind of overhype it. I'm not that excited for it, but I do think it looks like a solid game. Like it's going to be a solid, fun Nintendo game.
It's going to be a side-scrolling platformer. Yeah. With a yarn mechanic. I mean, Yoshi poops out yarn balls. And you can throw the yarn balls at stuff.
Yeah, instead of eggs, he poops out yarn balls this time. And you can use the yarn balls to make warp pipes and other stuff.
I mean, it's ridiculously colorful as well. Like, everything is just a crazy primary color of yarn in this game.
Yes. So, I mean, that's I don't really know what else to say about that. I think it's a good thing because it's them showing, hey, we're appealing to a little bit of everybody here. We're not going to show you the hardcore games that we have coming, or the games that are going to appeal to more hardcore gamers.
Right.
We're going to show a little bit of everything. We're going to show this is the game that's obviously geared towards kids or people who just love adorableness, and things like that. And I appreciate that.
Okay.
It kept for a fun, energetic.
I could have dealt with maybe about 5 minutes less of the developer sitting in that yarn store talking.
Yeah,
there was a lot of yarn store talking in that trailer.
Yeah, I'll give you that one.
Next up came another one, which this had me scratching my head a little bit.
Okay.
In fact, I looked away for a few minutes and I looked back and I was like, "Oh, really? Okay." And you guys, I don't want to be the biggest negative Nancy in the world. There's plenty of stuff in this conference that I was actually.
I'm positive enough that that I'm going to counteract that.
Okay,
in
good.
some way. I hope.
Okay, good.
Or I'm going to be labeled a Nintendo fanboy. So
either way, it's fine. I brought on. Everybody's going to get to talk about what they like for these podcasts, but
yeah.
Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Now, for those of you who aren't really aware of what the hell this is, in Super Mario
3D World,
or
3D Land, or whatever the hell it was for the Wii U.
Land?
Whatever the one was for the Wii U.
The last one for the Wii U. There were these little sub-levels where you played as Toad, and they were three-dimensional levels where you could turn the levels all around.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is that Toad doesn't jump. So it was more of a puzzle because you had to walk and you had to open up platforms and get up, and there was like 5 coins in every level that you had to pick up, and then you would get out of the level. And there were enemies, the same enemies as in Mario, but it was interesting because it was kind of Mario from the non-Mario perspective.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that.
Now, it worked really well as an occasional thing in that game. Once again, I'm not entirely sure if I would want to play an entire game devoted to that.
I'll say this. If it's a Nintendo eShop download game,
okay, yeah,
it's like $10.
Yeah,
then it's totally worth it.
Perfecto mundo. Yes,
but
exactly.
but we don't know that for sure. For all we know, it could come out as a full $60 game that's just filled with all sorts of puzzles and stuff like that.
I mean, and the thing is that I don't even want to come out and say that like I'm opposed to the idea of it.
Yeah.
It's just that what I saw in that demo and what I've played in the Mario game seems like it would wear out its welcome unless they start adding in new mechanics.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't doubt that Nintendo has the creativity to go in there and keep changing it around because, I mean, Super Mario 3D Land was such a creative game when it came to different types of levels and stuff. That
it was.
If they take that same creativity and they focus it on this to make essentially a non-jumping Mario game, which is really interesting, I would probably play that. If they said that there were, if they show us a little bit more, it could potentially be something really cool. It's just that as a beginning concept, I kind of go, well, need more before I get excited.
I agree with you. Like I said, if it's released on the eShop as a downloadable game for less than $20, maybe around 10, then you know what, that's totally justified as a game.
Yeah,
and I if I had the spare cash and I was England just to play that, or I knew someone who just wanted to play that, then it's worth it.
Yeah. After that, you know what? I think that Nintendo is listening to my podcast.
I think Nintendo's listening to everyone.
Okay, well maybe Nintendo's listening to everyone's podcast, but it's still weird that in a year where Hyrule Warriors is out, or is not out, but is
going to come out,
released and being shown to the public and trying to be hyped up for it, I find it incredibly bizarre that Nintendo would announce a new Zelda game, because it kind of, to me, is throwing Hyrule Warriors under the bus a little bit. Now, since I'm not the biggest fan in the world of the Dynasty Warriors games, and what they showed, let's talk about what they showed, is super exciting. I like that fact. It's just, to me, it seemed like a very weird thing that they would have two Zelda games in the pipe.
And I think this is the thing was, last year they showed, last year at E3 they showed Hyrule Warriors, a clip of it, trailer.
They?
Yeah.
Okay. Was that?
At least I think it was last year.
I thought it was one of their Nintendo Directs, but
it may have been. I thought it was last year's E3 Nintendo Direct. Maybe I'm wrong. I could totally be wrong on
very
that.
Well could have been.
But then they had also were promoting Wind Waker HD.
Sure.
They promoted both of those games, and then they said, "Hey, we're also working on a new Zelda game for Wii U. We don't have any announcements to make because we don't have anything yet.
Right.
But we're working on it." Okay, great. A year's gone by. They're like, okay, we need to show them that we were working on it.
Yeah.
And even if we don't give them a release date, a title, or whatever, we have to show them something to say, no, in that year we've done something, and we want to make you excited for it.
Right. So what we saw in this trailer was, for a long time, we had Link sitting on a horse in a giant world, and them talking about they're going to have a giant world. They mentioned very specifically that with this giant world that you'll be able to kind of come at puzzles from a bunch of different directions.
Yeah,
indicating
instead of like in previous games where you attack, you have to go to this temple to get to this, to be able to go through this temple to go through this temple,
right?
Kind of thing. Now it's, You go to whatever temple you want.
That's great. I mean, like the thing is that
Open sandbox.
My faith in Zelda was kind of damaged by Skyward Sword, but it was very much renewed by Link Between Worlds.
Yeah.
Because that game was fucking beautiful and excellent.
Yes,
and
it was.
I would love nothing more than to play a Zelda game that was just very much a Zelda game. Something that I guess was kind of like Twilight Princess, but a little bit. I mean, Twilight Princess was very straightforward. I'd like a little bit more. And the idea of using the Wii U's power to create a Zelda game that's more open.
Yeah.
I mean, even though Skyward Sword was pretty goddamn open, but having something that's more Skyrim-esque, but a Zelda game, I think that's a no-brainer. I would play the shit out of that game.
Yeah, no, I'm totally excited for it. And then when they actually showed like the trailer clip of Link being chased by the monster or whatever, oh my god, that thing was gorgeous.
Well, they sat at that screen with Link on. I assume it was
on the
Epona,
horse,
right,
Epona.
sitting in a field. And I thought, okay, well, they're just going to show this or whatever. And then they were like, but other stuff happens. And then suddenly, like, shit done start blowing up. And, like, some kind of mega Octorok 9000 comes out and starts chasing him. And he's, like, running through the forest on the horse. And, like, stuff was blowing up real good. And then he stops and he pulls out his bow. And he starts shooting bow bombs at this thing.
Oh, my God.
It was just, like, particle effects and smoke. I mean, it looks like...
Yeah.
Not
it's
exactly
still
as
stylized.
good.
It still has a stylized look because it's still kind of a weird cell shaded or watercolor shaded
semi right.
Yeah,
I wish
look
they'd just
to
go
it.
ahead and make Link a goddamn woman already because every game they keep making him look more like a lady. As far as I'm concerned,
yeah.
Personally.
But it looked like I'm just like I want this game now.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
It looks amazing. I want my hands on it.
Yeah,
I want it.
I think that it's. We'll come back to this a little bit more at the end, but I think that it's that we finally, like, if I was Nintendo, I probably would have tried to have had the last 3 E3s the first year when they announced the Wii U, because at this point, by the time we get to the end of this conference, there are plenty of reasons to purchase a Wii U.
Yes.
Plenty of games that you can go back and get that are out there that are great.
And I think Nintendo is banking on this year being the year that they make all the announcements, because they just released Mario Kart. They're they're about to be released Smash Brothers.
Right.
They needed to show,
Zelda,
now we got to get this Zelda people.
Yep.
And then once we've shown them that we're going to have all this, people will start buying a Wii U now.
Right.
Because that's what it's been missing. That's what it's been missing.
It's not.
And especially given Ubisoft's recent comments about the Wii
not
U,
making anything,
about how they're sitting on a fully completed game that is done production-wise until Nintendo sells more consoles.
Oh shit! I have not read that story.
Yeah, they came out and said, "Yeah, no, we're not releasing anything for their console until they." And they're not talking about Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
Watch Dogs is done as well, but they're talking about an exclusive title that is not coming out on any other titles. It has been done for 6 months, and they are not releasing it until Nintendo sells more consoles.
We better get along. We better get on to the next thing for console selling. The next thing that Nintendo showed was Bayonetta 2.
Oh, I've been so excited. This was the thing I was looking forward to the most. Them announcing.
Looks just as good as it did last year.
Yeah.
Kind of just want you to put it the fuck out, Nintendo. Like, I was sold on Bayonetta 2 when you said the words Bayonetta 2 Wii U. I was like, okay, great. I will purchase that. Just let me purchase it already.
And the fact that the big announcement with this year, I think, is even the biggest part of the announcement, is that if you buy the Bayonetta 2 hairstyle boogaloo, whatever you want to call it,
we can't make that joke anymore.
We can't.
No,
did someone already make that joke?
No, Jason has put a moratorium on electric boogaloo jokes on Rage Select.
I just like the word boogaloo.
No, we can't.
I didn't even. Okay, all right, sorry. The search for what's her name's Bayonetta's hair. I don't know.
Bayonetta 2, the hairiting or whatever. Hairstyle of the damned.
I don't know.
Yeah. Dong of hair. Whatever.
Bayonetta harder. I don't know.
Yes.
But anyways,
Bayonetta 2, Secret of the Ooze. There we go.
There we go.
All right. Continue. Sorry.
That is wow.
Keep saying that.
That is a porno title right there.
That's right. Okay.
Anyways, the announcement that if you buy Bayonetta 2 on the Wii U, you get Bayonetta 1.
You totally do. And a bunch of dumb Link, Mario, and Samus costumes for Bayonetta to wear.
Well, let's be honest. In Bayonetta 1, there were a lot of costumes for her to unlock through that game.
Sure. I don't know why anybody would not go with skin-tight hair leotard, but that's just me.
Hey, I'm less caring about the costumes. I'm more caring about the fact that they realize probably a lot of people who are buying it on the Wii U may not have played the first Bayonetta.
Sure.
So why not you get both?
If it's $60 and you get both Bayonetta 1 and Bayonetta 2, you know what? Here's the thing. Here's the thing. If Bayonetta 1 on the Wii U plays at a solid frame rate,
yeah.
For me, not for other people, but for Jeff, that would be a reason for me to purchase a Wii U, because the PS3 version of Bayonetta 1 was garbage, and the Xbox 360 version of Bayonetta 1, I've played it. Long load times, some frame rate hitchiness.
Here and there.
Like, if they could use the power of the Wii U, such as it is, compared to those systems that Bayonetta 1 came out on, to make Bayonetta a super smooth experience, great. And the fact that you can get both those together in one package, continue the story on, also great.
Yeah, no, I'm excited because the thing about Bayonetta is like they had said that they were going to never make another sequel.
Yeah,
or because Sega had no interest in it. Because originally Bayonetta was a Sega property.
Yep.
Made by Platinum Games.
Yep.
Well, Platinum started working with Nintendo more often, and Platinum went to Sega and said, "Hey, we want to make a Bayonetta 2. We have an idea." And Sega went, "We don't want to release that. Since you're friends with Nintendo, we'll let you take the property to them if they'll make it for you."
Yeah.
And they were like, "Okay, hey Nintendo, we want to make this game.
Yeah.
Do you want to be the publisher for it?" Nintendo went, "Yes, we do, because we want to show people that we're a little bit more mature."
We need naked witch ladies.
Yeah, we need the naked witch ladies,
nude witches over here at Nintendo.
I don't think I've ever actually heard that happening. A game moving to another publisher because the original publisher went, "We don't want to release it, but if you can take it to Nintendo."
Sega's been having an aneurysm for like 10 years
Yeah.
now, okay? They don't seem to have any goddamn clue what the fuck they want to do with their lives. Like, they've been living at home in mom's basement, smoking a lot of pot. Like, I'll find a new developer. It's fine, you guys. I'm going to make another console one day. You guys are jerks. Like, that's how I see Sega, personally, in my head.
Okay.
But no, Bayonetta 2, once again, you didn't need to show me a trailer. That trailer was cool. You didn't need to show it to me. I'm still just as excited as I was.
I think they announced this coming out in October as well.
Let's just take a quick look here.
If I remember correctly. I want to say they said October of this year.
Bayonetta 2, October 20th.
Yes, October 20th.
Yep. Next up in the Nintendo Direct, we had Hyrule Warriors, which, is Dynasty Warriors with Zelda people in it.
Yeah.
Like, they're not hiding that fact.
No.
They're not talking around that.
Nope.
It's just Dynasty Warriors.
It's like Dynasty Warriors Gundam. It's Dynasty. That was Dynasty Warriors, but with Gundams.
Yep.
This is Dynasty Warriors, but with Zelda characters.
At least Link, Zelda, Midna, at least.
There's one more.
Is there one more? Did they talk about one more there?
I think there was one more. Wasn't there Zelda's bodyguard? What's her name? I can't think of her name all of a sudden.
Sheik?
No, Zelda is Sheik.
Yeah, I know, but I was like, wait,
there's Zelda has like a someone who's basically like the princess's guard or whatever, personal guard or whatever.
Idea.
I can't remember her name right now.
No idea.
I'm blanking, and I feel really bad for blanking. There are probably people out there going, "You fucking moron."
But I watched.
I'm sure there's going to be a ton of characters that are playable.
Yeah. They've already said there's going to be a whole bunch of different characters. I wonder if Lu Bu is going to be one of those characters. I want to really just fuck up the world of Hyrule with Lu Bu.
Lu Bu.
I want Lu Bu in there with his fucking dumb hat, just shitting all over Hyrule. No, I watched some of one of their shows for this where they had Midna running around.
Yeah, I was watching that with you.
Doing stuff, and then they'd have the one big attack that had the moon.
From Majora's Mask.
Majora's Mask, yeah. They dragged down to fuck up one of the dragons. I mean, like, once again, it's one of those things where Dynasty Warriors is so simple of a concept that if you're just like, I need some Zelda in my life, this would totally work for that.
Yeah.
If you go into this game expecting it to be like any other Zelda game you've played, this is no bueno. No bueno.
I'm excited for it, though. I am totally down for a Dynasty Warriors style game. Though I'm not a huge fan of them, I do like them. I do enjoy them. With nothing but Zelda fan service.
Yeah.
That hey, I'm down for that. I'll buy that.
I don't necessarily care. It's not that I necessarily don't. They're not bad games, Dynasty Warriors. It's just that kind of when you played one, you've played them all. So once again, at this point,
you're right.
Like, no, I understand exactly what you're saying because I played like 2 Dynasty Warrior games, and I was like, I don't really know if I want to play any of these ever again. And then they put out Gundam, and I was like, ooh, I love Gundam. I want to play this. And I was like, yeah, this is the exact same game, but it looks like Gundam, and that's cool. So
yeah,
that's kind of exactly what's going on here. Is it's just Dynasty Warriors with Zelda instead of
it's Zelda fan service.
Lubu.
Yeah,
so
Lubu.
I love saying the words Lubu, John. What can I say?
I noticed that.
Let's see, Kirby and the Rainbow Curse.
Yes,
coming next year.
I guess the spiritual sequel to the DS game Canvas Curse.
Yeah, where you're not actually controlling Kirby, you're drawing like lines,
rainbow lines.
Yeah, he's just always moving forward, and then you're drawing lines and tapping in places. This was a sequel to, it looks like a DS game.
Yeah, like I said, the original game was a DS game called Kirby's Canvas Curse.
Yeah.
In which, in that game, the story was that he got sucked into a painting and lost the ability to use his arms and can only roll.
Oh, okay.
Like his arms and feet, so he can only roll.
Yeah.
So you, as the player, then had to guide him where he needed to go. I actually played that game. It was actually a lot of fun.
No, I agree. I did too. I think it's a really interesting take on just video games in general, as having a, it's weird because you've got a little meter where you can only draw lines up to a certain point, and then you can't draw any more of them. And so you've got to kind of be very strategic in your use of lines to kind of get Kirby to where he's going. Also, the whole game has kind of a claymation look to it.
Yeah, there's also some clay puns in there. Like when you beat a level, like I saw on one of the feeds we were watching later, I think earlier today actually, it said like, thank you for claying. And then it would change to playing after it said that. And it was just like, there's going to be a lot of puns in this game. A lot of clay puns.
Yeah. This is kind of, to me, I'm more interested in this than I am in Yoshi.
Yeah.
But it kind of falls in the same category of like, I'm sure it'll be fine. I don't think it's exactly going to be something that's going to be pushing. Like, I don't know if there's anybody that's been on the fence about a Wii U and then they go, "Oh shit, I want to play that Kirby game. I'm going to buy a Wii U."
I totally put it in the same boat as Yoshi's Woolly World in regards to that, because they're not games that you're going to buy the console for, but they're totally games that if you have the console, and you buy, it's fun for the family, fun for everybody.
Yep,
they're going to be good games.
Next up, Xenoblade Chronicles X, which is a sequel to the, Project Rainfall. They got them to localize the Xenoblade Chronicles they released in Japan. That was the first of the 3 games they put out here in the States. Which I played a little bit of.
Was that the Wii game?
Yes.
Yeah. Here's the thing about that Wii game. So hard to find. First of all, because they didn't make a lot of copies of it, because the people who localized it, because they didn't see a lot of demand.
Do you want my copy of it?
Sure, I'll take it. I haven't played it. But it's so hard to find that when you could find it, the price of the game is like over $100 now.
I'm sorry, you can't have it. I'm going to sell mine on eBay for $100.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. It's trust me. It's like I said, I think I found it at GameStop once, and they wanted $80, and this was like last year.
Jeez,
they wanted $80 for it. So I mean, it's crazy in regards to this. Like It's expensive game. It's a very expensive game.
Well, this one started out with a trailer, a lot of just Macross style robot, alien ships.
Yeah.
Million beams coming out, blowing shit to Kingdom Come. It's going to be a lot like the first one. I mean, I saw some stage stuff for it later on. It's going to be a third-person, party-based. You're wandering around an open world where the monsters are there, and then you target them. It's kind of like I said. When I played the original, it kind of plays like a faux MMO where you're not actually online, where you've got characters in your party that you've got skills that have a cooldown on them, so you're popping skills and you're trying to manage aggro and stuff like that. It looks really good. I mean, what I saw of it on the Wii U looks really good. It looks like a straight-up Japanese as fuck JRPG.
Yeah, and I've been told there's like 6 or 7 of them. Xeno games, like they may not all be Xenoblade, but they're like Xeno something.
Right. I believe that before Xenoblade, it was Xeno Saga.
Yeah, and I've actually never played any of them.
I tried playing the first one, and I got bored. But Xenoblade, the one that came out on the Wii, I actually really liked it.
Yeah.
It was too long, and it was right in the middle of a bunch of stuff coming out.
I kind of feel like this new one's going to be the same thing. Maybe not in the coming out when a lot of other games are coming out,
right?
But because like they showed a demo of it later on their Nintendo Treehouse live stream thing, in which the guy played, I want to say for a good like 30 minutes or an hour.
He was grinding for levels on a live stream at E3. I was like, yo, that's not a good
And he
thing.
basically was like, yeah. And then I think one of the guys like, oh, when are we going to see the mechs? Because that's a big thing that they've been showing off is mechs. And he's like, yeah, we're not going to get that far in this.
Yeah.
So that tells me that getting to a point where you get a mech suit that you can fly around in is going to be like maybe into the, a long time into the game.
Yeah, I mean, that original game was very creative.
Yeah.
And it had a pretty decent RPG system. I'm not super big fan of that whole faux MMO thing, but it's one of those very slow building character games, right?
Yeah.
Where they're building a party one person at a time. Everybody's got their own backstory, and they take their time doing it. So I honestly think that, I mean, like if you're any kind of fan of those games. Also, the only thing that stopped me from getting really into the Wii game was the fact that it came out like very late in the last generation of consoles.
Yeah.
And it was really ugly, man. Like, I mean, it's just the Wii doesn't go above 480p.
Yeah.
And there's some limits as to what you could do with that hardware. And it seemed like a good game, but it was really gross looking, and I didn't want to play it. I didn't want to look at it. Which may be real superficial of me, but
superficial.
It came at the wrong time. Like if it had come out like at the very beginning of the last generation, when I still had an SD TV and I was still used to that type of stuff, fine. So that's why this game is really interesting to me, is because it's starting on a system that can play it at least at 720p, at least what we consider to be kind of like the lower end of the graphics threshold these days.
Yeah.
And I actually thought that what I saw on that stream looked really good.
Yeah, it looked really good.
I mean, it looked like a high-end Xbox 360 PS3 game, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
And so I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely, even though I've never played any of the previous games, I definitely want to check that out, and I'm looking forward to it as well.
Next up, one that I can't believe when they said it, we've never seen before. Mario Maker.
So this actually, there was a screenshot, or someone took a picture when they were setting up the floor on like Friday, and that was pictured, and everyone was like, "What is Mario Maker? What is this?
Yeah.
Like everyone was like, what is this? Is this a real thing? Are we going to see some sort of announcement about it, or is this some cleverly made like fake thing?" So I mean, it was definitely one of those things where. Right before E3, everyone kind of knew they were going to announce something about it.
Yeah.
But no one knew what it was. And at first, everyone just assumed that it was going to be this little simple, you make your own Mario levels, edit the Mario levels and things like that.
Sure.
For like the original Super Mario Brothers. And the trailer did something interesting.
Yes, it did.
It switched the graphics to New Super Mario Brothers.
Yep. It sure did.
So you can not only make your own Super Mario Brothers games or levels, you can make your own New Super Mario Brothers U games.
Yep.
That is awesome.
Now, it looked like all the stage show stuff that I saw for it, I mean, this is basically just a construction set, and I assume they will obviously have to have some kind of like upload and download and this kind of stuff. But I watched some of their stage show stuff where they were showing this off, and it seems like this game seems like a tool for malicious sadists to fuck people with Mario. Like, they're designing levels where, like, the level starts and there's basically, I saw one level where the level started and there is one question block with a mushroom in it. And to the right of that question block, there, like, are 25 red Koopas and, like, 16 Hammer Brothers. And I'm like, you guys are assholes. That's asshole levels of Or like they would have ones where you would go up and you would hit a Koopa, and the way that it would work is that you would have to run like 1 pixel in front of that Koopa and then jump right at the last second so that it would go underneath you in a place where there was one block that was empty for you to jump into it. I've never. Okay, so John, have you ever gotten into playing any of these like custom mod Mario things where they make them really, 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 really difficult?
I have not, but I have played Super Mario Brothers 2: The Lost Levels, which was the real Super Mario Brothers 2 in Japan, which was just as hard.
Yeah.
Especially considering in the first level of that game, like they have the poison mushroom, but because the previous game taught you that mushrooms are good, you immediately grab it and die.
Yep.
Yeah. So I am familiar with hard Mario games.
I don't know. This is one where I think it's a great idea.
It's a no-brainer.
It's a great idea. I just don't know. Once again, this goes into I have no good concept these days, John, of how many people are actually using things like Little Big Planet, Project Spark, and things where you get to make your own level.
Oh, there's tons.
Yeah, okay.
Both of those games have huge communities.
Okay, well, I just don't know if I'm really interested in playing people's hellscape Mario games that they've decided to make. Like I like it's one of those things where I really prefer, when it comes to my Mario games, I prefer when Nintendo has the tools to make whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like like we were just talking about in the last Mario game, where like there were levels that were very different. Or when you go back to something like Super Mario Brothers 3, right? The first time that you went to that level where everything was giant,
you're
like, holy shit, this is great. Because there was only so much that I felt like I really had an interest in replaying the same constructed levels over and over and over again. One of the reasons why the new Super Mario Brothers franchise is kind of burned out on me, because I'm just kind of don't want to do that over and over and over again. So I kind of wonder if this game is going to fall prey to that or I don't know, maybe other people don't have that same burnout the same way that I do with just side-scrolling Mario levels.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing will be, once it comes out, depending on how much it's going to cost, do you need to have Super Mario Brothers U to play it? Or do you just need this game to play it or whatnot? And then also to see what people do with it, because I think that's the big thing. Whenever you release a game that's very much hey, we're giving you the tools to make your own games, much like Little Big Planet, or even the WWE games, or with their crafted story modes and their created characters and stuff like that, or even what was the other game that you mentioned that I Project Spark.
Yeah.
It's what's always interesting to me is not what they're like, here's the tools and here's the type of things you can do with it.
Right.
And then those people then go, okay, but we're going to do something you never expected that we're going to do, and it's going to be awesome.
I hope so. I guess for Little Big Planet and Project Spark, and I didn't watch enough of the Nintendo Direct feed to know if there's anything like this in Super Mario Brothers, but for Little Big Planet and Project Spark, they have rudimentary programming tools in them, whereas it seems like Mario Maker is just an object-oriented programming language specifically for Mario. Like it's not like you could turn the stuff that you make in Mario Maker into like a racing game, like the same way you can in Little Big Planet.
No, you're right on that. You are right, but I just think it'll be interesting. I think we won't really know how successful it'll be, until it comes out and people get their hands on it, and then start using it to do things that they did that the people who made it weren't intending. And then on the flip side with that, once that's done, well, everyone's going to make a level that's designed in the shape of a penis,
right?
But in response to that, how they then take that and cultivate that community, because that's actually been the biggest thing with Little Big Planet, I will say, is that they looked and saw what type of games people were making. Like, they didn't think the original Little Big Planet was just intended to make like levels where you platform.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't planning on people to make other style of games.
Yeah.
And then once people started actually doing that, and people started making like their own like calculator using the levels and stuff like that, like in the game, they're like, okay, how can we cultivate this? How can we add to it? So they'd be like, okay, you want a shooter game? Here's a paintball mechanic.
Right.
Now do that to make a shooter game. Oh, people are making first person game. Okay, let's make a racer. They then went, okay, how can we help you make more fun stuff?
Yeah.
So if Nintendo can do that with this, even if it's just levels, I want it.
Okay.
Just based on that.
I mean, it's one of those things where, once again, I just need to see it.
Yeah.
I need to see it in action.
Oh, definitely.
Speaking of paintball, something that kind of took me by surprise. I saw it on the Nintendo Direct and didn't think very much of it, and then I finally watched it on their live stream, and it looked way better than it did in just the trailer.
Yeah.
Splatoon.
This is again, this is they had three guys, the three developer guys talking about it, and they said something that I pointed out earlier, which is Nintendo is very much come up with the core game mechanics first,
right?
Then build an idea around it,
right? And so the idea here is you basically have a third-person shooter, a third-person multiplayer shooter. But the goal is not necessarily to get more kills. It's to everybody has a paint gun, and you have to cover more of the level in your color of paint than the other team does.
Yes.
And then as if all that wasn't enough, apparently they were just like, and then one day we were doing meth in the desert, and Ricky was like, what if they were squids, man? And I was like, that's amazing. So apparently all the characters, they look like the little third-person kind of crazy.
They look kind of kids.
Yeah, but then they were able to turn into squids that
swim
in the paint that you have down, and they can swim very quickly through your color paint, and when they hit the other color paint, then they go real slow.
Yeah.
So there's a whole mechanic.
You can even like swim up walls.
Yeah.
And upside down and like all sorts of crazy stuff.
So I really like the idea of having a game where I think that the thing that I liked most of all about this, and what really caught my eye about it, was the idea of having a game where just straight up murdering the other person is not your primary objective.
Yes.
Because that means that I don't have to feel like a chump when I play. No, but also I like the fact that it seemed like everybody kind of had the same gun.
Yes.
It seemed like
though they did have there are other types of guns.
Oh, okay.
Like there is like a sniper rifle type weapon. There's there is like a rocket launcher kind of thing that shoots paint over a large amount of area. There are paint grenades.
Yeah.
Then there was someone that had a giant paint roller, an oversized paint roller that could roll around in.
Okay.
That I thought looked kind of interesting. I watched it and I was like, I have little to no interest in this, but I'm having a lot of fun watching this little trailer and watching people play it. I'm starting to get interested in it.
Yeah, yeah. I think that when I originally saw the trailer, it didn't do the Nintendo Direct didn't do a very good job conveying to me exactly what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
And then when I saw some developers actually talking about all the specific mechanics of it, I was like, oh, well, that seems like it could be really fun. Once again, seems like something that is creative, different, and probably going to be very well put together.
It's team versus team.
It's 4-on-4.
Yeah, 4-on-4 team-based combat. So
the only thing is they did use one of those things that when they say it, I'm just like, where
buzzword.
Like, you could totally aim using the motion controller and the Wii controller. And I was like, no, please, no. But yeah, Splatoon, I think, looks really, really interesting.
Looks fun.
And I would like to play it.
Yeah.
And then finally, there was an anime at the end.
A trailer.
Yes.
It was a trailer of it was animated in a very anime style. Looked good as far as I was like, I actually wouldn't mind watching an actual anime.
Yeah. And it was they're adding
a new character to Smash Brothers.
Palutena?
Palutena, yeah. The one of the characters from the Kid Icarus games.
Kid Icarus, yeah. So
she's a goddess, I think she is.
And I think Dark Pit as well. Okay, listen, I never finished original Kid Icarus.
Neither did I.
And I didn't play the 3DS one.
Neither did I.
I'm so far behind that I'm just like, and for me personally, you'll have to do the talking here because I don't even really play Smash Brothers. So I'm like, this whole announcement.
Wait. Are you saying that Jeff can't bros?
Jeff does not bros just yet. He will eventually. Up until now, it's been one of those things where I looked at Smash Brothers. I mean, before I was doing this for a living, I looked at Smash Brothers and was just like, it doesn't look like it's for me.
Oh, I love Smash Brothers. I actually play a lot of Smash Brothers. I still have all my GameCube controllers so that I could use them on Smash Brothers on my Wii when the Wii version came out.
Okay.
And I'm totally psyched that they're releasing a GameCube 4-port hub, GameCube controller 4-port hub for the Wii U.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
So that I can actually continue to use my GameCube controllers, and they're releasing new Smash Brothers labeled GameCube controllers.
This is such a weird E3, man. You're excited they're putting out GameCube controllers. I got people cheering for 10-year-old Halo 2 multiplayer. I got women going crazy throwing panties on the stage for the new The Sims. I feel like I'm living in 2004 over here. Anyway, so as a person who plays Smash Brothers, unlike the rest of us, were you excited by this announcement?
I'm going to be honest. That character didn't really do anything for me. I'm just like, I don't really play the Kid Icarus games. I don't know who that is.
Okay.
So it's cool. I'm always glad to have new characters that have new play mechanics.
Yep.
Some of her fighting stuff and fights or her moves in the trailer they showed for her looked really cool, looked really interesting, and I'm totally like want to play the character to see how she plays. But like I said, I mean, overall, I wasn't like, oh my god, yes. I was just like, all right, I don't know who that character is, so I'm gonna have to just be like, cool.
Yeah.
I was more excited about the character they announced at E3 after the press conference,
which was
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man, yes.
Because that excited me more. I was like, wait, Pac-Man's in this? Oh my god!
I think it's when I saw that, I was like, it's actually Pac-Man, and it's not Pac-Man driving that Woodman like it was in Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
Yeah.
It's like actually Pac-Man.
Yeah, it's Pac-Man. Totally, like he has arms and legs, but he can do a move where he actually turns into the waka 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 thing.
You mean Pac-Man?
Yeah, the
Pac-Man
actual
turns
original
into Pac-Man?
Yeah, he turns into the original no arms, no legs version of Pac-Man for certain attacks, and he also like throws fruits and pellets and eats pellets and fruits and all sorts of other things. Throws ghosts at people.
Well, let me ask you, as I said, I kind of just asked you this before, but overall, how do you feel about Smash Brothers? Are you more excited now after watching this Nintendo Direct and the coverage and the tournaments that they've had, or about the same? I mean,
here's the thing: I was really excited for Smash Brothers, and I knew that they were going to be doing a Smash Brothers, which is one of the reasons why I bought the Wii U at launch. Because I mean, why would they not have a Smash Brothers? And I think having watched the tournament, that made me that did up my excitement a little bit more.
Okay.
But I mean, I was already hugely excited for a new Smash Brothers, so I don't really know if there's much more I could get much more excited. Because like I said, I like Smash Brothers. They're fun little games. I am a little saddened that there are certain characters that were like staples of the Smash Brothers franchise that seem to not be in this new one.
Such as?
I could be wrong here, but I haven't seen anything with Captain Falcon from the F-Zero games.
Yep.
I haven't seen anything with him.
Okay.
And I'm a little bit sad that I'm not going to get to play with Party Falcon, which is a Captain Falcon wearing the pink outfit.
Okay.
I've created a whole persona of Party Falcon for him where he's basically Duff Man. But
okay.
Yeah, it's just Captain Falcon is humor. He was pure humor for me.
Okay. I don't know. I haven't played the game, so I don't really. I mean, I kind of know about the whole Falcon Punch meme, but I don't really know that much about it.
Yeah, but so I mean, it's like I said, I'm a little bit saddened by that, but at the same time, Little Mac looks like he played. Like watching that tournament, Little Mac looks like he plays awesomely.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Mega Man being in the game. Sonic's back in this game as well as he was in the last game.
Right.
No Snake though. I was a little bit sad. No Snake.
Yeah.
No.
Snake's too serious now. He's covered in blood and ashes and stuff. You can't have him in that game. He would freak everything. People would choose Snake and just be like, he chopped that guy's leg off.
I'm going to be honest. He was a weird addition or inclusion in the last game.
That
Good
was
character though.
It was the GameCube was where he first showed up, right? And it was
he was only in the Wii version.
Okay. Well, and then let's see. I guess there was one other thing that they didn't actually mention, but I'm going to save that dumb robot thing for later. All in all,
they also announced that they're working on a new Star Fox.
Oh, yes.
After the press conference, they did. Apparently, Miyamoto showed off a demo in which he said this. He showed. Apparently, it looks cool and it works, and I don't know how to explain it because I'm explaining it fourth hand or whatever. But essentially, it uses both the TV and the like. You have to be looking at both the TV and your Wii U pad when you're flying the ship in Star Fox. And he came out and said that there's no announcements towards dates or what the game actually is because all it is the play mechanic. And now they're shopping the game around to their little smaller developers to see who wants to build a game around it.
Okay.
So that's kind of where
there is a Star Fox coming. I don't goddamn believe that we have Smash Brothers, we have Zelda, we have Mario, we have Star Fox, and still I can't get a goddamn Metroid game up in here. Jesus. All right. Well, all in all, it seems like the Nintendo conference, I mean, they seem to be doing the exact same thing that they've been doing for a while now, which is just adding reasons to buy a Wii U on top of reasons to buy a Wii U.
I also think this year they're kind of really, really hoping that this is the thing, that this year is the year that they start getting people to buy the Wii U.
Well, I mean, you look at the conference and you go, no 3DS to be found.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of Smash Brothers on the 3DS, I don't think they even announced. They don't think did they even do like a montage of shit coming to the 3DS?
I think on the Treehouse thing, I think they did something. Where they showed a montage of eShop games that could be purchased on both Wii U and the 3DS. Oh, they announced Phoenix Wright Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright for the 3DS.
Oh, they're finally putting that.
Yeah, they're bringing that over to the States.
I bet it's one of those. Is it the download only? They're not actually releasing a cart for it.
It looked like they were going to release a cart.
Okay,
for it.
That's because I think the last Ace Attorney.
Yeah, it was
download only.
Yeah,
which is why I still haven't played it yet.
Same here.
So yeah, but I mean, none of that's the thing that I was talking about before. None of this stuff, none of it looks bad, and I think I'm probably most excited about Zelda because even though I'm a grumpy puss when it comes to Nintendo, you got to be excited for Zelda.
This is a lot of people. I know a lot of people online were like, "Oh man, Sony totally won this year's E3." First of all, I don't think there's a competition of winning E3, but I do agree, Sony probably had the best showing of games out of everybody, like games that people are excited for. And I think Nintendo had the best seeming as they had just showing games that were exclusive. Like they had the best showing of exclusive games. Sony had, and then Nintendo just kind of had the most fun press conference event stream thing.
It's now that I think about this, I hadn't thought about this before, but when I now go back and I look through this list, there was no 3DS in here at all.
No.
They also didn't even bother to do the third-party developer Tango, where they show we're putting out Arkham Origins.
I think that's because
there aren't any.
Because there aren't any. Because EA already said that they won't release anything for the Wii U a long time ago.
Right.
Because of one of the Call of Duty games didn't sell well.
Yeah.
Activision said that. Activision,
right.
Battlefield or something. The EA released something and it didn't sell well. I think it was Mass Effect. It didn't sell well, and they basically were like, "Well, we're not doing that console anymore."
Oh, okay.
And then Ubisoft is being like they are now, like I mentioned earlier. And
I wonder. I mean, do you think this is going to bolster Wii U sales?
I think they knew that Smash Brothers would, because Smash Brothers sold the Wii. They had already made millions of dollars on the Wii, and it was already considered a success by the time the Smash Brothers game came out. And when it came out, they sold even more.
Right.
Like, it was just one of those things where it was like, oh, we're already making money with the Wii, and then they released that, and it makes even more money kind of thing. So I think that they're kind of banking that that's going to bring in some more sales for the Wii and Wii U and make that a little bit more popular.
Okay, it's actually that's interesting because I think that we're seeing. Looking at it, it's like Nintendo's out there kind of on their own. Basically, this to me is, and I don't know if there's been an example about this because I can't necessarily point at any one thing in particular. But this is one of the first times that I think that I have seen Nintendo is out there now with the Wii U, where they built a console. And they're the only one making games for their console. I mean, there's other stuff out there, obviously, but they're the primary developer of games for that console. And people will say, the Wii had a really low attach rate and stuff like that. But there was still other stuff on the Wii. There was still third-party stuff coming out for the Wii, whereas it seems like if you're going to buy... you better like Nintendo properties if you're going to buy a Wii U.
I do think that they're also going out of their way to get indie developers, because they did have a montage of, just like everybody else, they had indie... Like, the Guacamelee is coming to the Wii U.
Did they have that in the Nintendo Direct
It may have been, right after.
Oh, okay.
I watched the GameSpot feed that was on E3's website, and at the very end of it, they switched over to the Treehouse thing for 30 minutes, and they showed a bunch of stuff.
Oh, okay.
And they did show kind of a long trailer of a bunch of eShop games, which they were just games that oh, that's on Steam, that's on Steam, that's on Steam as well.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, those games look like they would fit well on a Wii U.
I think a lot of people, I don't know, I still wonder if there are people out there that have Wii U as their primary game console. And if not, if Nintendo can survive by trying to essentially sell... they're selling a Nintendo box at this point.
Yeah. Well, they've kind of always been selling a Nintendo box. However, previously, the third-party games were there with them. The problem is that now they are on their own. They are selling. They are the only ones selling their box.
I think I did not know that story before. I think it is bananas that Ubisoft has an entire game that they refuse to release until Nintendo sells more consoles.
Yeah. And what was
I don't know if I've ever heard of anything like that in the history of video games.
And what's really weird about the article that I was reading, I can't remember. I think it was on Joystick or something, or it may have been like an Engadget interview or something. But it was just like the guy said when they asked him like, "Oh, well, how many more consoles do they need to sell?" I'm like, "Well, it's not a numbers thing."
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, so what do you when you say more consoles? What do you mean? Well, they need to have a stronger base,
right?
Okay, well, what's the number for a stronger base? Well, it's not a numbers thing, so we're not gonna say that up publicly. It's like there's a number, but they don't want to.
They're not going to say it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like when I watched it and I looked at what they were offering, there were definitely a few things in there that I think look really strong. Like I said, I'm not made of stone. Zelda still gets to me, and shit blowed up real good in that Zelda trailer.
Yeah, and I think that's what Nintendo counts on, is that you are there for the Nintendo games. That's the way it was for the Wii, that's the way it was for the GameCube and the N64. You're kind of there for the Nintendo games. However, with the GameCube and N64 specifically, there were other publishers that were just also happen to be putting out really good games.
Yeah.
And now it's at that point where everyone's like, okay, well, Nintendo, you're on your own. And Nintendo knows that. And part of the problem with the Wii U is that they haven't really had a strong first-party Nintendo games until this year.
I mean, it's taken It's taken 3 years to get to the point where there are. I mean, like now would be the perfect time to buy a Wii U because they've had enough years to get a stable of games that if you were to purchase a Wii U, you could plow through all of the stuff that they've got out.
You want to get new Super Mario Brothers U. You want to get Super Mario 3D Land. You want to get Mario Kart 8. You want to get Smash Brothers when it comes out later this year. You want to get the new Zelda game. If you never played Wind Waker on the GameCube, you want to get Wind Waker HD.
Yeah.
Which if you buy Mario Kart 8 up until some date, you can get Wind Waker HD for free.
Okay,
along with or one of 3 other games.
Oh, okay.
It's one of their things that they're doing. But it's like they're just now coming out with those first party games that make you want to own the console.
Right.
Which I think that's been their biggest fault is that they had a lot of games come out. Not a whole lot, but a lot.
Well, it's like there was one every 6 months for the last couple years.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Well, this was impressive, and I'll be interested to see if it works for them.
Yeah.
Because I like the fact that Nintendo's around. I wish they were able to compete a little bit more directly with Sony and Microsoft because I think that it would make everybody stronger if we had all 3 of those guys just, dirty fighting each other, trying to get your dollar, but the niche they're carving out, we'll see whether or not it works. John, any last thoughts before we wrap it up here?
I think this year, E3, all 3 console companies have made me want to own their consoles.
There you go.
And that's the first time I can say that in a long time.
Okay.
Because previous years they've either not wanted to own a console or didn't care or only wanted to own one specific console.
Right.
So the fact that they've all 3 sold me, that's more than I can say I think this is a good year for E3.
Okay. Well, we're going to wrap it up, but join us back here tomorrow. Jason's going to come back, and we're going to run down everything that we can get our grubby little hands on from the entire thing, kind of do a wrap-up of the entire conference. And so drop back by, and we will see you then.